This video is about a probability and a chi-square test. For 4a, the table below shows the number of satisfactory and not satisfactory responses for each question. If teacher chooses a response at random, find the probability it's a response to the calculus questions. First of all, you need to figure out how many response to calculus questions. You could see this total. That's 18. Altogether, we have 90. So 18 over 90. 2 over 10. 1 over 5. The answer will be 1 over 5 or 0.2. For B, if the teacher chooses a response at random, find the probability it's a satisfactory response to the calculus question. From the table, you will find how many for satisfactory response to a calculus question will be 10. Altogether is 90, so 10 over 90 equals 1 over 9. Leave as a fraction because this is the accurate answer. For say, if the teacher chooses a response at random, find the probability that a satisfactory response, given that it's a response to the calculus question. Given that it's a response to a calculus question, which means we have 18 altogether. How many is for satisfactory response? 10. So we reduce 5 over 9. Look at the 1D. The teacher groups the responses by topic and choose 2 responses to the logic questions. Find the probability that both are not satisfactory. We go to logic response. Altogether is 20. Suppose all response to this logic in this bag. Altogether is 20 response. We have 14 that's satisfactory. Not satisfactory, that's 6. What's the probability I choose one response from this bag I got not satisfactory? It will be 6 over 20. Then I choose the second response. At that time, altogether we have 19. I choose not satisfactory will be 5 because you already chose one. Then we do multiplication. Simplify. Answer will be 3 over 38. For 1E, state the null hypothesis for this test. That means H0. H1 we call alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis for this question will be topic from the syllabus and the quality of response are independent. For alternative hypothesis statement, you will see topic from the syllabus and the quality of response are not independent. For 1F, show that the expected frequency of satisfactory calculus response is 12. How will you get expected frequency using this formula? Go to satisfactory calculus response is here. We go to this total 18 times 16, then over 90. 18 times 60 over 90 equals, reduce, you will get 12. Or you can put into calculator, get 12. For this question, when they say show that, you have to show this calculation step. Now let's go to 1G. Write down the number of degree of freedom for this test. We know degree of freedom equals row minus 1 times column minus 1. We have 2 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 column. Don't add a total into the original table. Therefore, we got the 2 minus 1 times the 4 minus 1. You will get 3. For review question 1H, we need to use the graphing calculator to get chi-square value. So we go to second x to the negative first power. We go to matrix, then put the edit, enter. We have 2 rows and 4 column. We put the value in 10, 16, 20, 14, 8, 6, 10, 6. After that, we go to stat, go to test, upper arrow, then go to chi-square test. We put enter, enter, enter. That's the chi-square value, and also you have p-value. If you go back here, second x to the negative first power to get the matrix, you could see the expected value. But sometimes in IB exam, you need to show the math work, how to get this expected frequency value. So we get the chi-square value equals 1.46. Remember 3 significant figures. For 1I, the critical value for this test is 7.815. State the conclusion of chi-square test. Try to remember this diagram. We have a rejection region. Reject this no statement means H0. Check whether your value fall in this rejection region. We have this chi-square that's 1.46 is less than 7.815. Therefore, your chi-square fall in here means do not reject H0. We don't reject H0. In other words, topic of syllabus and the quality of response are independent. This is one way to answer the question. Another way, you can use this p. P value, that's 0.691. That's greater than 0.05. That means P will fall on this area because this area is only 0.05. So you could say since this 0.691 greater than 0.05, so we don't reject H0. In other words, topic of syllabus and the quality of response are independent. Now let's go to 2A. This table are given. Draw a scatter diagram for this data. Use a scale of 2 cm for 5,000 folders on the horizontal axis and 2 centimeters for 1,000 euros on the vertical axis. Remember, when you set up the x-axis and the y-axis, you have to write down the name and also the units. See, the name and the units is very important. Then you have to, according to the given information, to set up the scale. For x-axis, they said 2 centimeters for 5,000 folders. That's why this is 2 centimeters. We do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Then for the vertical axis, you have to set up 2 centimeters for 1,000 euros. So we set up 10,000, 20,000. You could see here that we have 72,000. That's the highest one. Let's plot the points. When you plot this 22, be careful. Each one that's 0.5. So we have 22 will be here. This one. For this x-axis, that's 0.5 for each. This is 1 for each for the y-axis. So you have to figure out the scale. 28 will be here. This is the one, 28. For 68 is here. 21 will be here. 55, it's easy here. When you plot the points, remember to be careful with this scale. For x-axis, it's 0.5 for each. This is a very small one. And for y-axis, that's each unit stands for 1,000 euro. Now let's go to B. Write down for this set data the mean number of folders produced X bar. So you put your data into this stat, L1 and L2. Then go to calculate 2 variable statistics. You will get this X bar, that's 21. For this C bar, that's 55. For 2D, label the point X bar, C bar on the scatter diagram. That's 21, 55. You will get 21 and 55. It's here. We label as M, X bar, C bar. For 2E, use your graphing calculator to find the Pearson's product moment correlation coefficient R. Make sure your calculator you put the diagnostic on. Then go to stat calculate. This time go to 4. Linear regression AX plus B. They give you this R. R equals 0.0 990. Remember 3 significant figures. Now for 2F, state a reason why regression line C on X is appropriate to model the relationship between these variables. Because this R is very close to 1. Or you could say correlation is high. Look at the 2G. Use the graphing calculator to find the equation of a regression line C on X. We can write C equals 1.94x plus 14.2. This is a given. Remember, don't use this Y, use this C. And also the 3 significant figures. For 2H, draw the regression line C on X on the scatter diagram. Remember the y-intercept, that's 14.2. So try to get the 14.2, it's here. Then your line, try to pass through this point. Also has to pass this point. That's a mean point. Basically, I just connect these two when you draw this linear regression line. Yeah, that's it. Remember, pass through this mean point and also this 14.2. Since you already figured out the equation of a regression line and got C equals 1.94x plus 14.2. Therefore, when you sketch this equation of a regression line, show this 14.2 on this line and also this mean point. For 2I, each month the factory sells all the folders produced. Each folder is sold for 2.99 euros. Use the equation of a regression line to estimate the least number of folders that the factory needs to sell in a month to exceed its production cost of that month. We sold the folder for 2.99 euros. So we get a 2.99x equals 1.94x plus 14.2. This is the money we got for selling all the folders. This is the cost. We have to make a cost and also the number we got from selling together to figure out this x. Subtract 1.94. You will get 1.05x equals 14.2. Then you divide by 1.05 both sides. You will get the x equals. 13.5238 thousand folders. Therefore, 1,000, that means 1, 2, 3. We need 13524 folders. Remember, no matter this number is, you have to round up because we have to exceed its production cost for that month. Let's go to 3A. We know this contingency table. Find the expected number of female who prefer the documentary shows. Female and a documentary, that means this 30. We got to use total, that's 54, 93, over 180. So we'll get 54 times 93 over 180. You will get 27.9. For 3b, we put into calculator, go to matrix, and then we do test, chi-square test. Here's p-value. P equals 0.0321. Since we didn't get the critical value, you have to use this p-value to draw the conclusion. This p-value compared to 0.05, that's 0.0321 less than 0.05. So they fall into this rejection region, reject H0. So we reject H0. In other words, TV show preference and gender are not independent.